Hello and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for May of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kell Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California. Let's take a look at what's happening in May.
Well, Capricorn, I want to start this month's horoscope by talking about Pluto. Pluto is going retrograde, and Pluto has just recently entered into a new sign for the first time in more than a decade. Pluto's been traveling through your sign of Capricorn, wreaking havoc in hierarchies and structures, corporations, businesses. I think Pluto's been responsible for the Me Too movement, taking down men in power, and just basically bringing a lot of transformation and metamorphosis to your own realm, Capricorn, which has been pretty stressful for you, no doubt. It's getting ready to move on into Aquarius, which does bring Pluto into the realm of your second house, that being the house of food, body, and money. So as Pluto moves into this house, which really, I just want to say, this is just a hint of things to come. Pluto is so slow moving. He's just going to tiptoe into your second house for a few months, and then he's backing right on out again into your first house, where there will be a finishing up and just a total mopping up of whatever he's still wanting to do in Capricorn. And then he'll move into your second house for reals during 2024, and then spend at least a decade there transforming your finances, your relationship with your body and how comfortable you feel in your own skin, your body image perhaps, and your food, nourishment, and how you manage your body and maintain it for health and longevity. So Pluto's going to bring some pretty heavy stuff to those realms. And if there's anything psychological that could be uncovered, such as body image issues that you've been, that you maybe just haven't had a chance to work on for a while, but they're there underneath it all, or some issues about self-worth and wondering whether you bring value to the world, or wondering whether you're physically safe in the world. Pluto's going to bring those things up over the long term and transform them for you. This is really just a hint of what is to come in the next decade. Juno starts the month here in the tail end of Taurus in your fifth house, where she's been for the last month or two, and then very quickly moves on into your sixth house. Now, Juno is all about collaboration and partnership. She's the asteroid goddess of marriage and committed relating. She weaves the social fabric of society together. She is a matchmaker and connector of people to each other. Now, when she appears in your sixth house, she brings the spirit of collaboration and partnership to the job. This is the house of the job. It's a house of work, health, service, personal organization. So there are a couple of different ways that this can play out during Juno's 2-month passage through this house. One is that if you work in a client-based practice, you may find that you're drawing more clients during this next 2 months. So that could be really great news. You may find that you want to hire a consultant, and that could work really well, be a great use of this transit. You may find that you want to get together with your spouse or your domestic partner and do some organizing in the space that you share together. Maybe it's time to clean that garage together. Maybe it's time to, finally get that built in that you've been wanting to have so that you can organize all of your media. Whatever form it takes, it might be about doing some organizing with your partner. And you might just find that if you're on a team at work or you manage teams at work, that this is just a really great transit for those teams to where everybody just feels like they want to cooperate and work together very smoothly. And you could be the orchestrator of that. So this one I think is pretty awesome. Now, just a little bit into the month, around May 6th, Ceres, which has been retrograde, and here she is in Virgo in your 9th house, goes direct. Now, Ceres first went retrograde several months ago, back in February, early February. She went retrograde in Libra in your 10th house. And in that month's horoscope in February, I would have told you that this is a financial rebalancing period that's going to last for several months, and that you would notice it most especially in your career. Now, when Ceres goes retrograde, we find that we have to look into our finances or our health routines and practices or our diet and make some fixes because things have gotten into a kind of a mess, maybe because we stopped paying attention to them. In your case, Ceres in retrograding has backed up into your 9th house, which is causing you to ask yourself some rather big philosophical questions about the meaning behind these physical routines in your life. And you're asking yourself the deeper questions like, what am I worth? And what are my beliefs about money and whether I deserve or not? And so if you have been working on your beliefs about deserving and about like deserving to be in your body, deserving to be in the physical world and feeling a sense of belonging in the physical world, and you've been improving what you believe, then as Ceres goes direct on the 6th or the 7th, depending on your time zone, and Ceres moves on out of the 9th house and back into your 10th, you're going to be bringing those new improved beliefs into the realm of your career, which might encourage you, for example, to ask for more because you're more aware of the value that you're bringing in your career, and might help you to literally bring more value and have a better relationship with those above you and those below you in the hierarchy of your career. So this Ceres transit can really bring some financial improvements if you handle it in the right way. And what I'm saying is this month, your focus should be on, what do I believe that I'm worth? And how can I expand my own worth and value so that when I bring that to the workplace, I can be compensated better? And that might get you out of a financial mess. Also organizing, that can get you out of a financial mess too. Hey, Julia, what is up for the Capricorns of the world with Mercury, Venus, and Mars this month?
Well, the big news is that Mercury starts the month retrograde, and this is all happening in your 5th house, Capricorn. Now, Mercury retrogrades happen 3 times a year, where Mercury appears to be moving backwards in the sky from our perspective on Earth. And Mercury represents your mind as well as communication. So this can be a time where communications get a little bit screwy. Now, since this is happening in the 5th house, if you do have any children, that you might face some miscommunications with them as well. Or if you're dating new people, there might be miscommunication. So be aware of that. By May 1st, Mercury exactly conjoins the Sun while retrograde. We call that Lesser Epiphany Day. And that's a time where you might have some insights and revelations into all this confusion. So maybe there'll be insights into where the communication broke down, or maybe you've just been reviewing some 5th house activities in your life, such as your creativity, what you're creatively putting out there, games and things you do for fun. And by May 14th, Mercury will finally go direct. I'd give it about a week after that for it to pick up speed in the sky, where we could finally say that the Mercury retrograde cycle is officially closed. Now, on a lighter note, Venus, the planet of beauty and relationships, starts the month in your 6th house. This is a work house. So Venus here actually might help you get along really well with the people that you work with, or even find a little bit of pleasure at the job. It's just a nice time for your workplace. But by May 7th, Venus is going to enter your 7th house. Now, this is your romantic relationship, and Venus loves to be in this house. So it can be a great, great time for romance in your life. Mars is also in this house, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but generally, Venus is bringing a little bit of harmony and pleasure into your romantic relationship, and even in business partnerships, any partnership in your life, really. It's also a good transit to date new people, even though the Mercury retrograde cycle might have you rethinking them or having miscommunications with them. But, that aside, Mars, by far, probably the most challenging planet I'm talking about, because Mars can bring conflicts and flare-ups. But the higher side of Mars is he can show us where we're really driven. We can get a lot of things done with Mars, and we all need to do that. Mars spends the first 20 days in your 7th house. I know I had mentioned that Venus is there for a lot of the month, and they're going to overlap in this house. Mars might mean that you're not always seeing eye to eye with your partner, that maybe they're annoying you a little bit more than usual or frustrating you too. And this can also go for your business partner as well. But Mars in the 7th, the higher side of this, and it's getting helped by Venus in the 7th too this month, is that you can get a lot of work done with your partner. Your best work this month, and getting, where a lot of activity is going to happen, where you can get a lot of things done, is in the context of a partnership, a one-to-one relationship. So get involved in some projects. Maybe there's some things to do around the house together, or maybe there's some work stuff you can get accomplished with your business partner, and really, really just dig into it. And you'll definitely get to the higher side of this transit. And then by May 20th, the last third of the month, Mars is going to enter your 8th house. This is a house of mystery, of research, investigation, and shared finance. So Mars in the 8th can sometimes be a frustrating financial cycle. The 8th house can represent loans, taxes. Maybe you think you're getting a tax return back this year and nothing really happens. Or maybe you're applying for a loan or a new credit card and you get denied. It can be a bit of a frustrating time with that stuff, or even conflicts over money too. But Mars in the 8th is really excellent at investigating and researching. So if finances are on your mind this month, I would use the last third of the month with Mars in your 8th to do tons of research, to really, really investigate and dig deep. And it can be, you might want to act on things, but I would just say if you can kind of get as much done in terms of research, that might be better. And Mars in the 8th time, the 8th house is a house of mystery. You might be drawn to a lot more mysteries too in your life, really driven by social taboos and things of that nature too, with Mars in the 8th.
Yep, that can sure happen. Hi, Jamie here. I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. And if you're enjoying it, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Your support helps keep this content free, and you can also get access to workshops where I will cast your chart live in the workshop. The link can be found in the description below. Thanks again, and let's get back to the video. So let me discuss some moons that are going on this month, beginning with the second eclipse of this eclipse season that we're in. It's a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and it lands right here in your 11th house, opposite to the Sun and Uranus and Vesta here in Taurus in your 5th house. Now, first of all, eclipses, they show us our shadow. They're inherently uncomfortable. We're forced to look at stuff that we'd rather put behind us. Secondly, lunar eclipses show us our shadow through the emotions that we feel. So big emotions can get stirred up. Now, thirdly, this is a releasing eclipse. That means that the moon is with the South Node. And so this can stir up a lot of emotions that are better off released rather than held on to. And fourthly, this is a moon in Scorpio eclipse. Now, the moon is in its sign of fall in Scorpio. It struggles the most in Scorpio. The moon wants to be nurturing and caring and bring us a healthy emotional life. But in Scorpio, it really struggles to do that. You might say that the moon is a watery planet Scorpio is a watery sign, and you would think that the two of them would be a good combination, right? Water and water, but it's kind of too much of a good thing because this Scorpio just amps up the emotion of the moon to the point of paranoia and just intense feelings of vulnerability, powerlessness, and being out of control. Now, this is landing in your 11th house, which is the house of groups, communities, tribe, friendships, social circles, and the internet and social media too. So it wouldn't be surprising if there was a sort of a group paranoia that comes up during this particular eclipse, where it just seems like the whole group has gone a little bit crazy and is like paranoid and freaking out, and maybe there are some manipulative actors in the group that are shouting the loudest. And the thing about lunar eclipses is that they are built on full moons, and full moons have an inherently polarized and partnership-oriented dynamic. The moon and the sun oppose each other during a full moon. Always, always, always. That's the definition of a full moon. And so in any lunar eclipse, you might find yourself identifying with the eclipsed planet, the moon, or with the sun. And so because the sun is here in the 5th house, opposing the 11th, you might identify with this end of the polarity instead. These planets in Taurus are so much less paranoid and freaking out. These planets are much more grounded and stable. This Taurus section provides the rock that you can cling to when this moon gets super, super stormy. So you might find yourself retreating to your own center. That's what the 5th house is. It's the house of you, your identity, your center, the core of you, the heart of you, and what I like to think of as your personal brand. So you might retreat to your own grounding in reaction to some craziness and some big emotions that are showing up in your community. And that might be the best way to weather this eclipse. You can find out a lot more about this eclipse along with the other moon happening this month on our monthly forecast page at our website, pandoraastrology.com. So let me move on to the other moon, which is happening later on in the month on the 19th. Moons generally come at 2-week intervals. That's very normal. This is a new moon in Taurus. And at this point, the eclipse season is over, thank goodness. So much, this moon is so much smoother. And in fact, it's loaded with harmony. There is a sextile to Mars, a trine to Ceres, a sextile to Neptune, and a gorgeous trine to Pluto that really helps to deal with any fallout that may have come from that lunar eclipse in Scorpio. The reason that I'm saying that is that when Pluto trines a moon, whether it's a new moon or a full moon, then you can have transformation and metamorphosis, all those Scorpio things, but it doesn't have to hurt. It can just feel like it's gently scrubbing away an extra layer of skin that you didn't really need, instead of feeling like it's ripping and tearing at you and forcing you to be reborn as something different. This is a much smoother process than that. In fact, we're calling it gradual transformation fuels intuitive action. And to find out why, you should definitely check the video about it on our forecast page at pandoraastrology.com. But I will say that because this moon lands in your 5th house, which is so very full and active and busy this month, that the emphasis really comes to the realm of fun, pleasure, and play, creation, recreation, procreation, and entertainment. And this lovely moon, with all of its harmony, could put you in an identity growth process that can be fun, that can be pleasurable, and deeply grounding. So the last thing I want to tell you about is the seasonal change. Here on May 19th, you see that your 5th house is very full, and then begins over the next day or so a gradual migration of planets out of your fifth house and beginning to emphasize your sixth house instead. Now, wherever the sun is, we want to shine the sunlight of our high quality attention so that things can thrive and flourish there. And that's what attention does. It helps things to grow, and positive attention helps positive things to grow. So you want to bring your positive attention into the sixth house realm starting May 21st for the duration of the sun's passage along this house, which is just about 30 days or 1/12 of the year. And the sixth house is the house of the job. It's the house of work, health, service, and personal organization. So in the sixth house, you can put positive attention into getting better organized, getting better systems in place at home or at work. You can put your good attention into the people that work for you, particularly the people that you lead, that work under you, cultivating them and helping them to do their jobs in the best possible way so that it can help them look good and help you look good. And this is a house of service. So doing some form of service or bringing a service orientation to whatever you do this month, such a great way to spend the month while the sun is traveling along through the sixth house.
Well, that's all for today. If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share our horoscopes with your friends.
We make these horoscopes for you for free, and if you appreciate it, supporting us on Patreon is the best way to show it. Share our horoscopes with your friends too. Enjoy your May, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.